Embedded system an electronic electromechanical system designed to perform a specific function and is a combination of both hardware and firmware. Means combination of hardware and software, we are going to create a embedded system. Every embedded system is unique and the hardware as well as the firmware is highly specialized to the application domain. Always it will be specialized related to the application domain. Okay. And embedded system, one second. Yeah, one second. Next, we are going to see with respect to embedded systems versus general computing systems. See, what is the actual difference between the proper embedded system and the general computing system? General computing system, I can take it as my laptop or desktops or your mobiles. Anything will come under general purpose computing systems. Okay. The computing revolution began with the general purpose computing requirements. Earlier, it was realized that the general computing requirements are not sufficient for the embedded computing requirements. Whatever the general computing systems were generated with the basic requirements that are not sufficient enough to prepare your embedded computing systems. Okay, the embedded computing requirements demand something special. It should be little bit more special in terms of where it has to be implemented, what all the special characteristics are needed, what all the type of simulations are needed. All those things come under something special is needed with respect to embedded computing system in terms of response to stimuli, meeting the computational deadlines, power efficiency, limited memory capability, etc. are needed with respect to embedded computing requirements. Here you can see the basic and the actual difference between the general purpose computing system and embedded systems. You first we will see with respect to what is the basic thing or basic definition related to general purpose computing. In embedded system also same thing. If you are going for general purpose computing system, a system which is a combination of generic hardware and a general purpose operating system for executing a variety of application can be called as a general purpose computing system. You can tell it as a laptop only. Okay, combination of generic hardwares. Generic hardwares are there. You have a memory, motherboard, you have a processor, you have a hard disk, all those things are combined. Those are the basic hardware requirements. And a general purpose operating system, OS, is Windows. We will be using Windows as an operating system where you will run variety of application. I am running a PowerPoint, that is one application. I am running on the operating system, that is a general purpose computing system. If you are going for embedded system, a system which is a combination of special purpose hardware and embedded operating system for executing a specific set of application. Here in embedded system, you can't run all the applications here. Only you have a restricted applications, means what all the inputs we can give, what all the output we can get, and what you can display as a output. Those things are the basic or specific set of application which can be run on your embedded system. Okay, it has a restrictions related to what type of application we can run on this embedded system. Okay, If you are going, once again, if you are going for general purpose computing system, contains a general purpose operating system. In embedded system may or may not contain an operating system for functioning. It may not consider in general purpose. Yeah. Sorry, I got a call. That's why it got disconnected. I think display is just one. Yeah. Uh, in this, yeah, where were we? Yeah, GPO is general purpose operating system. In general purpose operating computing systems, applications are alterable, that is programmable by the user. It is possible for the end user to reinstall the operating system and also add or remove a user application. That is with respect to general purpose computing system. See, in our laptop, we can install or we can reinstall or we can alter the applications. We can do anything with respect to the application. That is related to general purpose. In embedded system, the firmware of the embedded system is pre-programmed and it is not alterable by the end user. There may be exceptions for the system supporting OS kernel image flashing through the special hardware settings. That is with respect to special character embedded systems, okay, where you can do the image flashing through special hardware settings, then only you can change some of the programs or we can do alterations. But normally with respect to embedded system, firmwares are embedded systems are pre-programmed. We can't alter those programmings. Okay. That is, performance is the key decision factor in the selection of the system. Always faster is better. If you are going for embedded system, application specific requirements like performance, power requirement, memory usage, etc. are the key deciding factors related to embedded system. Oh, not only with respect to the speed, but it should be memory and performance and power requirements. All those things are the key factors related to embedded system. In general purpose, less not at all tailored towards the reducing operating power requirements. Options for different levels of power management will be there with respect to general purpose computing system. If you are going for embedded system, highly tailored to take advantage of the power saving modes supported by the hardware and the operating system. Here you will be always thinking related to power saving modes which are supporting for the hardware and operating systems in embedded system. In general purpose, responses requirements are not time critical. This here, whatever the results we are getting after the after running the applications, everything, it is not time critical. If you are going for embedded system, for certain category of embedded system like mission critical system, the response time requirement is highly critical everywhere. Uh, Wherever you are going to implement your embedded systems in real-time applications, then it is very critical time. It is a time critical system. Okay. Then need not to be deterministic in execution behavior. And in embedded system, execution behavior is deterministic for certain type of embedded systems like hard real-time systems. Always, whatever the execution process is there, that should be deterministic whenever we are going with respect to embedded systems. Okay, but in general purpose operating system, no need to be deterministic with respect to execution behavior. These are the main examples, main differences between the general purpose computing system and the embedded system. In general purpose, I can give an example as a laptop and your desktops, all those things are general purpose. If I am going for embedded system, it is having a examples I can give is washing machine, televisions, remotes, and many other applications. You can tell me also. Those are where you can't install anything. Already pre-installed softwares will be there. Simply you can use it. You can give some of the input, some of the applications, and you will get the exact output. These are the examples with respect to embedded systems. Okay. History of embedded system. Embedded systems were in existence even before the IT revolution, built around the old vacuum tubes and transistor technologies. Whenever we were having the vacuum tubes in terms of transistors, at that time only these embedded systems have been existed. Advances in semiconductors and nanotechnology and IT revolution gave way to the development of miniature embedded systems. See, as the development or revolution has occurred with respect to semiconductor, nanotechnology, and IT revolution, it gives the way with respect to the miniaturization of embedded system. Previously, it was bigger. Now it has become smaller. The first recognized modern embedded system is Apollo Guidance Computer, AGC. Developed by the MIT Instrumentation Laboratory for the lunar expedition. It has 36 kilo words of fixed memory and 1K words of erasable memory. The clock frequency was 1.024 megahertz, and it was delivered from the it was derived from the 1048 megahertz crystal clock. From the crystal clock, we are going to take the clock frequency of your system, or that has been reduced by half, and you got the actual clock frequency here. The first produced embedded system was the Autonetics D17 guidance computer for the Minuteman I missile in 1964. That was a mass production of one embedded system, that is Autonetic D17. It has been used in the missiles, and it was built using the discrete transistor logic and hard disk for the main memory. The first integrated circuit was produced in the September 1958, and the computers using them began to appear in 1963. And now we can see with respect to classification of embedded systems, some of the criterias used in the classification of embedded systems are based on the generation, okay, and complexity and performance requirements, and based on the deterministic behavior, and based on the triggering. All these four are the main classifications, where if we are going for the first classification based on the generation, you have five, that is first generation, second, third, fourth, and next generation. These are the main four generations of classification. And first generation, you can see early embedded systems were built around 8-bit microprocessors like 8085 and Z80, and 4-bit microcontrollers. 4-bit microcontrollers are Z80, you can tell, and simple in hardware circuits with firmware developed in assembly code only. Whatever the firmware we want to install, that was in the assembly code. That previously you can see as an example, digital telephone keypads and stepper motor control units, etc. These will become an first generation example. If you are going for second generation, embedded systems built around 16-bit microprocessors and 8-bit or 16-bit microcontrollers. That is a second generation. In first generation, you are having only 8-bit and 4-bit, 8-bit microprocessor and 4-bit microcontroller. But if you are going for second generation, the development can be observed that from 8-bit it has become 16-bit microprocessor, and 4-bit microcontroller to 8 or 16-bit microcontroller. And instruction set were much more complex and powerful than the first generation. Whatever the instruction sets we were having in the first generation, now in the second generation, it has become more complex and powerful than a first generation. Some of the second generation embedded system contained embedded operating system for their operation. Whenever here for the second generation, we are having operating system also which can run the embedded system applications. For example, data acquisition systems, SCADA systems, etc. will come under second generation. If you are going for third generation, an embedded system built around 32-bit microprocessor and 16-bit microcontrollers. Okay, and application and domain specific processors, controllers like digital signal processing, and application specific integrated circuit, that is ASIC, uh, came into picture. Here inside this type of third generation, you have incremented from 16 to 32-bit microprocessor, 8 or 16 to 16-bit microcontroller. Here you have application and domain specific processor, and also controllers also implemented here. In this, you can use controller of digital signal processors or application specific integrated circuits, which can control the function of your embedded system. Okay, the instruction set of our processors became more complex and powerful, and the concept of instruction pipelining also evolved. Here in third generation, the instruction set become more powerful and more complex, and also one more concept has been implemented, that is instruction pipelining has been implemented. Instruction pipelining means whenever you want to execute two or three lines at the same time, one by one, that is called as instruction pipeline. That I'll explain you in detail. And dedicated embedded real-time and general purpose operating systems entered into the embedded market. With respect to dedicated embedded real-time and general purpose operating system entered into embedded market. Embedded systems spread its ground to areas like robotics, media, and industrial process control and networking. All these areas, embedded system came into place by using the controllers. By as the controllers are implemented, and stronger processor came into place, and also complex instructions can be implemented, and also by including the pipelining method of execution. Okay. In fourth generation, the advert of system in chips, system on chip, that is SoC, reconfigurable processors and multi-core processors are bringing high performance and tight integration and miniaturization into a embedded device market. That is related to fourth generation. Here you have used system on chip type of hardware, and also you are using the multi-core processors, which which will provide you a high performance and tight integration and miniaturization also. And the SoC technique implements a total system on chip by implementing different functionalities when the processor core on an integrated circuit. They make use of high performance real-time embedded operating systems for their functioning. Smartphone device and mobile internet devices are an example related to fourth generation. Here, multi-cores are used, means high performance is given and high speed of execute. So speed of execution is high, and it can be used in real-time embedded system because execution time reduces, means results also you can get it in real time.